Hi, I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to continue my series entitled Rhythm Exercises. These studies in blues rhythmic phrasing go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar accompaniment within the context of a 12-bar blues. First I'll perform rhythm exercise in the key of E number 9, and then I'll break it down for you. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Let's break down rhythm exercise in the key of E number 9. In these exercises, we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar accompaniment within a 12-bar blues. Each 2-bar phrase will use the exact same rhythm. So we have 12 bars and we have 2-bar phrases, so that's 6 2-bar phrases. So each of the 6 phrases will start with lead guitar using the same rhythm, and then go into rhythm guitar that is the Chuck Berry or Jimmy Reed style rhythm guitar pattern. It generally sounds like this. So our rhythm for this example is triplet, 2 and triplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the lead guitar portion will use that rhythm. We'll play lead guitar through bar 1 and into the first eighth note of bar 2. At that point, we'll switch into rhythm guitar. So the lead guitar will be on triplet, 2 and triplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we'll enter with the rhythm guitar like that. Except now the rhythm guitar enters on the second eighth note of the bar. So you'll be coming on the rhythm guitar on the and of 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So each 2-bar phrase will use that rhythm. Now that we've talked about the rhythm, let's go on to the scales that we'll be using in this example. The first scale is the E blues scale, and we'll be fingering that between the 5th and 8th-ish frets. The octave pattern of E's looks like this. So those are our E's, and the pattern is sometimes referred to as the C pattern if you know the caged system. Keep in mind the roots are E here though. Here's the root E, and there's the root E. The pattern looks like this. So that's the E blues scale. Also keep in mind that the blues scale is sometimes used interchangeably with the term minor pentatonic. The blues scale is simply the minor pentatonic with the addition of the blue note, which for those of you who know scale spelling is the flatted 5 or the sharp 4. Now we're going to go over the E major pentatonic. That's the other scale that we'll be using in this example. So again, our octave pattern is the same. There's E and E, and we're going to be in what's termed as the C shape again for the major pentatonic. So that pattern looks like this. So that is the E major pentatonic. Now that we've talked about the rhythm and the scales, let's go on to phrase number 1. Here's part 1. Triplet, 2 and triplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to start out with an approach slide into the 6th fret, and my first triplet is major pentatonic. And then I'm going to do a bend still within major pentatonic. So here's 2 and 2 and then I have 2 triplets here, and we start in the major pentatonic and then go into the blues scale. So this is major pentatonic. Now into the blues scale. This is the major pentatonic. And then I end on the root. And often you use chord tones to mark the end of your phrase. So we just resolve to the root there at the end of our lick. And then we go into the accompaniment pattern, which is that Jimmy Reed or Chuck Berry style blues pattern. Notice I dropped that first 8th note though, because I'm coming from the lead guitar. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on to part 2. Triplet 2 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so in this lick I'm starting off with a bend that's about a half step. And so we're fingering in the major pentatonic here, but we're bending into the minor, so we're bending to the minor 3rd. And here's the first triplet, triplet. So bend, not bent. There's the root E. And then we go back to the 2nd of the scale here. That's the F sharp. 2 and. So we're in major pentatonic there. And then this is a blues scale type lick. So we bend here at the 8th fret, and we're going to go up the blues scale and back down the blues scale. So it's triplet, triplet. And then we're going to bend this, and we're finishing off our phrase here. And as I said, we tend to end phrases on chord tones. So I'm fingering the minor 3rd here, and I'm going to bend a half step to the major 3rd. That would be part of our chord. So I'm bending G natural here to G sharp, and there's your E7 chord. That is the 3rd right there, G sharp. So I'm bending to that note. And then to the comping. On to part 3. Triplet 2 and triplet, triplet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're starting off with our first triplet. I'm doing an approach slide again, and the first triplet, all of these notes are in either the major or the minor pentatonic, but moreover what we have here is an A triad. So this is a first inversion, A triad, and we're playing over an A chord, so it makes sense that we be using chord tones to outline the chord change. So I'm going straight up the A chord. And remember, it is an A7, so I'm adding the 7 in here, G. And then coming back to the 5th of the chord, E. So the triplet 2 and literally is an A7th arpeggio. 3rd, 5th, root, flat 7, 5. Those are the notes in my A7. So yes, those notes are all in E major and minor pentatonic, but they moreover outline the A7 chord change. Now here's where I go into the E blues scale, so I'm going to use that blue note again. Triplet, 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 1. So we're playing with the E blues scale here. Triplet, triplet, 1. And my last note, again, in this phrase is E, but this time the E is the 5th of the A chord, but we're still ending on a chord tone. After we end our lick on the chord tone, we go over to the accompaniment pattern, which has now been moved 1 string toward the floor because we're on A. So this is the A style, Jimmy Reed style, Chuck Berry style comping. Now on to phrase 4. Triplet, 2 and triplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So we're going to start phrase 4 with a blues scale run here. So we're starting on the 5th fret on the low E string, and this is the chromatic part of the blues scale. So we have triplet and then 2 and, so that's all minor pentatonic or blues scale. And then for the second part of the measure, we have triplets, and we're starting the first triplet on the root. And then we're using both the minor and major third, so that's a very typical blues sound to use both of those thirds in combination with each other. So triplet, and then we're in the major pentatonic for the second triplet here. So second part of the bar, triplet, triplet, and then we're going to end the lick with a bend into the major third again. So we're fingering the minor third, bending a half step into the major third. So triplet, triplet, 1, and then we go over to the comping, and 2 and 3 and 4, and so we're back to an E7th chord here. So here's lick number 5 over the 5 chord. Triplet, 2 and triplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So we're starting off on the note B because we're on the B7th chord. So we're starting on the root of our chord, and we're going to go up the blues scale, and that's our first triplet. Now we're going to start beat 2 on an F sharp. That's part of our major pentatonic. It's also part of our B chord. Back to the root E, root of the key, I mean. Then down the minor pentatonic scale or the blues scale, triplet. I'm bending to the blue note there. Triplet, ending our phrase on the root B. Again, we are on the B chord here. So last part of the bar is... Then I go to the comping. You could go to the comping at the 2nd fret. Might be a little closer just to stay at the 7th. But I'll let you choose. Here we go, one more time. On to the last phrase. Here's part 6. Triplet, 2 and triplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So we're going to start on the minor third, and we're a little bit out of position here. Here's our major pentatonic, but we're actually going to approach from the minor third G. So our first triplet is triplet, triplet, and then 2 and. So this was all major pentatonic with the exception of the starting note, which is the minor third. So that's out of the minor pentatonic. Triplet, 2, and now the rest of this is the minor pentatonic. So we have 5th fret here on the A string, triplet, triplet, 1, and we have a whole step bend there to the root E. So this is all E minor pentatonic, triplet, triplet, 1, and then we're back to the E comping here, and 2, and 3, and 4, and so we kind of start out major and then we go into the minor pentatonic. Let's hear that one more time. That's it for rhythm exercise in the key of E, number 9. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.